Armored Core lore. What if Jay was good? It's a rather simple one to answer, as if Jay was not this war-driven being that we see in Armored Core Verdict Day, I don't think he would be with us at all. After all, the Reapers were made to be unstoppable warriors. A sword with a heart is not what the Foundation nor their creators wanted. But maybe I'm being too heavy-handed here with the lore. After all, R was a Reaper who helped the lone mercenary in the battle against the Evergreen Eunuchs. This is when the Vendae forces they are working with are taken out by a surprise attack. But this could be for a few reasons. One is the Foundation's interest in keeping the lone mercenary alive. After all, the group's goal was to take out people who could change the world. Another reason could be R alone felt she needed to help. After all, while cultivators are said to be more like robots than humans, it's also said the cloning process did not enable strong control over the subject, and their personality, if you will, could still be seen. As you can hear just from my waffling here, the reasons are not clear. But with what we know about cultivators and the Foundation, I think it would be fair to say R's actions here to help the lone mercenary is something she did of her own free will. After all, we know the Foundation was watching the lone mercenary, but watching and protecting are two very different things. So where does this lead, this what if? It makes it very hard to weave a tale, to be honest, but I am going to try, and you all can let me know how I did. Created from warriors from the past, Jay the Cultivator shows a lot of promise. However, he had one major defect that his creators noticed. He did not wish to fight people he believed were weaker than himself. It was a fault which should have seen him written off as a failure, like many others. Yet the problem for Jay's creators was that they needed firepower for the Great War. Along with this need, Jay showed no signs of not obeying orders from his creators. So why throw away a creation with piloting skills that most can only dream of having? The answer was clear to the creators. Jay would live on and serve in the Great War. Yet even during the war, Jay still showed his fault, that of hating to battle the weak. It would be many years later that Jay and the other cultivators, which had been sealed away after the war, would be found by the Foundation. They would awaken the cultivators and soon use them for their own purpose, giving them the name of the Reaper Squad. These cultivators would soon make a name for themselves, especially Jay, whose skill in an armored core shook even the bravest bandit or mercenary. But what struck out more was that fault of his. Fleeing foes would notice Jay's killing of anyone he deemed as weak was done quickly. His communications over the radio would be filled with this annoyed tone at fighting anyone weaker than him. But put a foe with real skill in front of Jay, and everything changed. The clone sounded cheerful, even excited over the radio. The way he battled changed too, as instead of this quick and done style of combat, Jay would bring everything he had to the table, and no one saw this better than the up-and-coming mercenary Blue Magnolia. The female pilot fought with all her might, blasting and dodging what she could, and yet the Reaper kept on coming back for more. Encouragement and praise from Jay could be heard over the radio as this Reaper battled this new powerful foe. Sadly, the way he was created, Jay did not know when to stop and ended up crippling his new foe. Seeing this, Jay's encouragement and praise stopped. In a split second, the pilot goes deadly silent and retreats from the battle. He did not try to help, instead returning to the Reaper Squad base to sulk. Was Jay upset that someone he fought got hurt? Or was he simply upset that his fun was over? No Reaper tried to talk to him, and the Foundation did not care. 2 years have passed since that battle, and Jay now finds himself commander of the Reaper Squad. The Foundation thought it best, since he had so much talent, why waste it on the battlefield? Plus, they have plans to help him grow stronger. Jay, however, did not like this. The battlefield is all he knew, and now all he does is give orders and pick up his fellow Reapers when they have finished battling. It is not a life Jay wants, and so decides to leave the Reapers behind. There is no sneaking out for this Reaper, however, as he bought his old armored core inside a rebuilt Great Wall, which the Reapers call home, and blasts his way out. Into the world no longer a Reaper, instead a simple AC pilot looking to battle. Jay does not make a home for himself, instead wandering from place to place, fighting whoever he pleases. While the lone mercenary story goes on, Jay would simply travel, encountering pilots and his fellow Reapers as he goes. Venaday, Sirius, nor Evergreen, none of the three powers' forces could stop him either, as he seeks new foes to battle. The battles wear down Jay's armored core as the lightweight mech sparks as it rides over the polluted world. It had been a while since he left the Reaper squad, now having battled many foes from bandits, three-power forces, and even a few mercenaries who thought they'd found some easy scrap. But none had proven a challenge. Yet fate played its final card for this clone, as over the radio Jay hears about Blue Magnolia joining the Reaper squad. The thrill of that battle 2 years ago makes him smile. A worthy foe he thought was gone. He had to fight her again. His search would take a while, however, as the battle between Blue Magnolia and the lone mercenary was already underway, when suddenly a lightweight armored core bursts onto the scene. Blue Magnolia. Jay's voice came over the radio of the two fighting armored cores. I knew you could not run from life on the battlefield. Face me again. And you? The sparking lightweight Reaper painted armored core looks at the lone mercenary's own armored core. Fight me too. From my travels I have heard of your skill. You may surpass her. With this said, the three armored cores battle. Magnolia fires off at Jay with her rifle, perhaps hoping to deal with the most damaged looking of her foes first. But the shot misses, clipping the metal strut behind the ex-Reaper. At this, Jay goes in for a strike with his blade, but a blast from the lone mercenary's vampire arms forces Jay to boost the left hard to avoid it. With the lone mercenary before her, Magnolia opens fire, this time at the lone mercenary who, like Jay, boosted aside to avoid it, taking cover before firing back. The shots of the lone mercenary hit Blue Magnolia hard, but before she can return fire, suddenly Jay rushes in and takes a swing at the lone mercenary. His armored core blade connects with a loud clanging, stunning the lone mercenary's armored core with the sheer force of the hit. Blue Magnolia, seeing the pair like this, opens fire again, this time with missiles aiming to damage both of them. Jay cannot avoid these, and he knows this. Yet with a smile on his face, he boosts towards Blue Magnolia, taking the blast on his already heavily damaged armored core. Once close enough, he slices off the left arm of Magnolia's AC. Maggie, from inside her mech, shouts about how her soul belongs in the battlefield as she returns to fight Jay. Her own mech now sparking and on fire. It's a quick final battle, however, as Jay fires off a few rounds of his rifle into Blue Magnolia, before a vampire shot from the lone mercenary, meant for Jay, is dodged by the ex-Reaper and brings an end to Blue Magnolia instead. Maggie's death, however, cannot be mourned for long, as the Foundation man comes over the radio. Well, that's that, I guess. A bit of an anti-climax. In the course of this war, I've eliminated 51 candidates. She'll bring my total to 52. There's nobody worth mentioning. Except you two. You could have avoided this, Jay, if you just stayed, but you had to run off like a bad dog. And now, it's time for both of you to die. God had it all wrong. Mankind will destroy the world all by itself. At this, the sky rumbles as a scavenger and Amon drone surround the pair, looking like two mice trapped in a circle of cats. Jay, however, does not falter here. Instead, he speaks over the radio. To defeat all who stand before me. That is what I was created to do. When this battle is over, we will resume ours. With this, the ex-Reaper heads off to fight the scavenger. Even this bird of death, however, cannot stand up to Jay's skills, as the lightweight AC dances around the bird like a machine of death. Shot after shot fired, Jay does not give up, even when he has to throw away his rifle when it runs out of ammo. The lone mercenary helps too, as the pair take down their foes one by one, until they again stand alone. Fat Man, after, tries to talk to Jay, asking if he really wants to keep fighting. Jay's answer is this: "The world of order built by the three forces is not one I can live in. There is no place for me other than the battlefield, to live as I please and die a senseless death. That is who I am. Not a mere man of flesh. War is part of my existence." Sadly, the final battle of Jay would be a short one. With no ammo and his armored core on its final legs, the lightweight armored core would last only a few minutes, with a few swings of its blade before the lone mercenary would land the final blow. From here on, the lone mercenary and Fat Man would not face Jay in the N-Wix, but instead the Foundation Man. So, this is as good as I could make Jay being good. I can't honestly see Jay joining the mercenary, and I don't see Jay working with any of the three powers either. The image of this lone wanderer type, I say, suits Jay from what we know. But let me know your thoughts on this. Maybe you see Jay joining a criminal group. Maybe you see him becoming a mercenary and being able to repair his AC. Whatever it may be, I would love to read it in the comments below, or hear it in your own what if video. But with that said, this is how I would answer the what if question of what if Jay was good.